Okay, so are you there? Who asked this question?
Sir, I asked.
Okay, okay. I just want to give the example. If you have the honey, you know honey,
Yes,
and you have the water, which one has more viscosity?
honey,
If you put the honey over the solid surface and water, which one will move faster?
water,
Water will move
water.
faster because the water has less viscous, low viscosity. So if you have the more viscosity, then your resistance to flow is more because you have the more interaction with
Surface.
with the surface. So in viscid means the effect of the viscosity is minimum. So means there is no viscous and the effect of the viscosity is negligible. You got my point.
Yes,
This is in viscid flow region means this is the region when the viscosity has a negligible effect compared to the friction flow. So if you have the more viscosity, viscosity is higher, then we can say here viscous flow. If the so if near the surface, if you have the more viscosity, this fluid is high viscosity, then it has the frictional effect. If the very less viscous, for example, air has the viscosity higher than water or lower. Air,
air,
air and water, which one has more viscosity?
water.
Water. So water has viscous flow, air has inviscid flow. So it means we can say when the viscosity is going to decrease, in viscid flow region is going to increase. Clear?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So any other question? Any one of you? Any other question?
No, doctor.
Okay. So we have to go into moving the last part of this lecture. This is very interesting. Okay. Now we are going to discuss laminar versus turbulent flow. So same is the what we discussed. The viscosity has very important contribution on the flow of the liquid. So the laminar flow, laminar is actually the definition is the streamline flow. When the fluid is moving on the same lines, just moving on the same paths, they don't mix together. They don't mix together. So you see like this one, they're just moving same line, not intermix together. Or we can say they have this smooth streamlines. This type of the fluid is called laminar flow. They have no intermix with each other. Each layer of the fluid is moving parallel to each other. So this you see here, they are moving parallel. Just moving parallel, but they did not have mixing together. This is called the laminar flow. And then we have the turbulent flow. Turbulent flow means there is a violent mixing. Fluid velocity at any point varies randomly with the time. Means all the layers or all the streams of fluids are mixed together. So you see here, they mix together. They did not move streamline. For example, here, just for example, if you have you have the one color here, one fluid is here, then you have another fluid and other fluid, then you have the third type of the fluid, and then you have the three type of the fluids are entering to the pipe. If this is the laminar flow, at the end of the pipe you will get the same fluid here, and then same fluid at the center and the same fluid at the top. So it means they are moving to the same streamline, they did not mix together. This is called the laminar flow. But in the case of turbulent flow, all of these fluids mix together. So means they have They mix together, they're moving like this one. They just mix together. So you cannot recognize the individual fluid at the end of the pipeline. So here they will all mix together. So this is called, they all mix together. So the mixing is the turbulent flow. They mix together, they're not moving in streamline. And if they are moving in the same streamline, they're not mixed together, this is laminar flow. So in our, as a chemical engineer in the industry, this is very important to calculate either the fluid is laminar flow or the turbulent flow. If the laminar flow, there is less pressure drop. If this one is turbulent flow, there is more pressure drop. And when we want to transport from one point to the other, we have to use the bigger size or the large size pump. Turbulent flow, pressure drop is more, size of the pump will be higher to transport the fluid. If laminar flow, the size of the pump we needed will be very small. But how we can calculate the fluid is laminar or turbulent based on the RE, that is Reynolds number. So normally I think is like 0 to 2000, 0 to 2000. If there is no number, this is called laminar flow. Then this is a transition around 205, and 205, no, I think around 200 to 4000 is transition, and above 4000 is turbulent flow. So transition is the flow between transitional flow is the flow between the laminar and the turbulent flow. So if we can say half of the laminar and half of the turbulent, some part is mixing, some part is not mixing, that is called transitional flow, and we can calculate with the help of Reynolds number. So later on we will see how to calculate the Reynolds number. So this is very important. As a chemical engineer and a fluid mechanics, the more important is the Reynolds number. So this is the example, another example, how we can explain more. This is the laminar flow. You can see fluid is moving just the streamline, very streamline. And the turbulent flow, in some part they are mixing, in some part they are moving the streamline or mixing. But so this is the turbulent, sorry, this is the turbulent. In turbulent, you see they are all mixed together. But in transitional flow, there's the we cannot see actually the difference, but you see here maybe some part is moving streamline, and some part they are mixing together. Maybe here the streamline, here is the mixing, streamline. So intermediate is the, I think again, so you see here, this is again mistake. This one is turbulent. You see here. So turbulent is, it looks like the inside the sea. If you see the like the layers are quite mixing together. So this is the transitional. It looks like, but we cannot differentiate among the threes because this looks like the same. But it's the just this the simple is the laminar is streamline, turbulent is mixing together, and transitional is intermediate between the laminar and the turbulent flow. Okay, another type of the flow is, another type is natural versus forced flow. Natural flow and forced flow. This is a very simple example. Natural flow and forced flow. Firstly, we discuss the natural flow. Natural flow means you are not providing any external force and fluid is moving only due to the density difference. For example, if you have the heater, if you want to heat up your room, in your room there is a heater, you just start up the heater at the one corner of the room, the heat will move from one side until reach to the other side, and the whole room will become warmer. Other example is you have the air conditioner in your room, and air conditioner after some time it will cool your room. So it means cooling is transport from one part of the room to the another part due to the density difference. So due to density difference, the fluid is just moving. The cold liquid and hot and cold fluid, they have the different density. That's why they can move. But force flow means you are using some type of the force. For example, you are using any any external force, or external means, for example, fan or pump, and then you are moving fluid. For example, if you have the ceiling fan and your fan is working, if your air con is working and fan is working, your room will cool very fast because the fan will distribute the cooling everywhere in a short time. So this is how we can say this is natural or forced flow or unforced and forced flow. Then we have the steady and unsteady. Steady flow is not going to change with the time. And unsteady means flow is going to move with the time, steady and time. So unsteady is dependent on time, steady is independent of the time. This is the example. If you are driving a car and your car speed is, for example, 100 kilometer per hour. If you are driving car with this speed and you are driving for 3 hours, continuous 3 hours, you are driving your car with the 100 kilometer per hour. There is no change in speed with the time. That is called steady flow. Means the flow is constant with the passage of time. There is no effect. Unsteady means sometimes your flow is 100, maybe sometime you are 60, sometime maybe you are 80, sometime maybe a 20, traffic block, signal, anything. So this is called your speed is going to change with the time and there's no constant speed. That is called unsteady flow. So in many of the devices, for example, you are working turbines, pumps, or other machineries in the industry, they are working under steady flow. Means their speed is not going to change with the time. So this is very simple how we can say steady and steady flow. Then we have another example is 1, 2, and 3 dimensional flow. This is just very simple. If the fluid is moving in one dimensional, for example, this is you can say this fluid is, if your fluid is moving only on one dimensional, or maybe fluid is moving in two, for example, moving in this side and also moving in this side, this is called two dimensional. If fluid is moving in three way, that is called three dimensional. For example, like this. Remember, we have the like this x, y, and z. If the fluid is moving in three dimensional, 3, 2, or 1. This is just the same what we can say, the 1, 2, and 3. So normally we consider the fluid in two dimensional, means it moving in a streamline and also it can moving in a vertical. So sometimes we consider fluid is moving in two dimensional. In the streamline, just moving straight, and also sometimes there is a diffusional effect and moving in the upper side. So later on we will discuss this one. We have a detailed discussion in chapter 3. Okay, then we have this one is just for your understanding. In this one, we know what is the difference between the system and the control volume. What is the system? System is any any device or anything which is under consideration or anything which you are going to study. That is the system. For example, you want to investigate any machinery, any equipment, your car, anything, that is the system. But how we can define a quantity of a matter or a region in space chosen to study. So it means anything you are going to study, that is the system. So this universe is also one type of the system. Surrounding, anything outside the system is surrounding. For example, this is the system. This is you already decided you want to study this thing. This is the system. Surrounding, outside the system is surrounding, and system and surrounding is separated by a boundary. So every system has the boundary. Very simple example is the UTM, University Technology Malaysia is a system. For example, if you are inside the UTM has the system, and outside the area, for example, Taman that is the surrounding of the UTM, and the boundary line between the UTM and the Tamil University is a boundary layer, a boundary line. So every system has a closed boundary, every system has a boundary, and every system has a surrounding. So when we in later on in our examples or in our other chapter, you will see there will be a system and surrounding, and there will be a boundary. Then we have the system has the two type: closed system or a open system. Closed system or open system. Closed system means in which the mass cannot move into the system, but energy can move. If energy can go inside and outside the system, that is called open system. Closed system. Mass cannot go in and out, but energy can. This is called closed system. If mass and energy both can go inside and outside, mass and energy both, then we can say this is open system. So this is one of the example is the water heater. A water is going inside the heater, cold water is going inside the heater, and hot water you are getting from the heater. This is called open system. So this is how we can define the closed system and open system. Okay, this is the example here. You see here, this is the water heater. This water heater, the water is coming inside. This you see water is going inside the heater. Water is heating inside the heater, and then you are getting hot water outside. So it means this water is going inside and we are getting hot water outside. So this is called open system. But if water is not coming in, not going outside, but we are just giving heat, only we are giving heat, or we are giving electricity, only we are giving heat, or we are giving electricity to heat up the water, but water is not going outside or not coming inside. This is called the closed system. If this any system has the boundary, or if you can heat up in the system and system boundary can start moving, that is called the moving boundary system. So now in the next we have the difference dimension and the units. So in this course and all other courses, you have to be remember, you have to know about the units. Units are very important. When you have any calculation, you have any problem, you have to remember, you have to use the same type of the units. For example, if you are using, for example, meter, for one thing, other you cannot use the centimeter. So you have to convert this centimeter to meter. So same way, if you are using the meter, that is the system international, then if there is a mass, you cannot use this mass in gram, you have to use this mass in kilogram. Time, you must have to take in second, temperature in Kelvin, and all these. So you have to know what type of the system you're using. If the system international, you have to use all these units. If you have the British system, then you also can use the pound, kilo, and others. So means when you solve your problem, you calculate problem, data is given, maybe data is given in the different units. Maybe length is given in one unit, mass is given in another unit, time is given in another unit, temperature is given in another unit. Then you have to convert all of them to in one simple unit. Any unit you can decide. Maybe you can use system international, or maybe you can use English system, but you have to select one same system, then convert all other data to the same system before you can have the calculation. Otherwise, the answer will be different and your problem will be wrong. For example, here, if you can look here in this example, this one is 1 kilogram. This is 200 ml. So you see here is ml, this one is the liter, this is the kilogram, this is the gram. You see this ml or L, they have the system is the same, but maybe the values are using the different. But if you have the using in, for example, here you are using kilogram, and here you are using the feet, or here you or maybe you are using the pound mass, then the system is different. For example, 1 kilogram or 1 pound mass system is different. So you have to use the same system in your calculation. If the data is given in a different system, then you can convert in one system to the other. How you can convert? Very simple. For example, you see here, you can use the unit conversion. 1 pound mass is equal to this one, or maybe 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram meter per second square. So you can use simple unit conversion and convert from one unit to another, but you have to use the same system. So for example, this is another example. You see here, the mass is 102 gram. Here the mass is 1 pound mass. So which one has the more apples? 102 gram, 1 apple, or 4 apples, 1 pound mass. So you cannot say which one is heavy. You have no information, because here units is in kilogram, here unit is in pound mass. Maybe this number is 4 and this number is 1, but we cannot say which one is heavy. How we can say? Firstly, you have to convert this pound mass to gram, or this gram to pound mass. Once you have the same units, then you can say which one is the more heavy and which one is lighter. So from the number, you cannot say anything. So this is how we can say why the units are very important, because you have to know the values in the same units so that you can have the same comparison. Then we have the, okay. So this one is, I think, all for this chapter 1. This is just the basic, some basic definitions. If you have any question, you can ask, please. You want to ask any question about this chapter?
No, doctor.
No, doctor.
Okay, so I will upload this chapter, this chapter in e-learning. I hope you are all there. And then next week we will start chapter 3. I will upload chapter 1, and also you can go through the chapter 2. Chapter 2 also has some definitions, but we will start chapter 3. Chapter 1, you just can go through. This is just the basic definition. So actually our exam will start from chapter 3, that we will start from next week. Any other question you want to ask? Any question you want to ask?
No, doctor.
Okay,
No,
okay.
doctor.
Okay,
Oh,
today
yeah.
that's all. It's enough today. It's just the starting point. So next week we will start the chapter 3. Okay, thank you so much for your.
Thank you, Doctor.